Here are 3 common mistakes that employers should avoid making when terminating employees. Mistake number 1, rushing to terminate way too much. There is absolutely no reason why you should ever terminate anyone before you run your plan to terminate by your attorney. Even if your situation is extremely unpleasant, you cannot stand the employee, you cannot wait to fire them, or if that employee shows some violent tendencies and he may be dangerous to himself or to his coworkers or even to you, suspend that employee first and talk to your attorney before you make the decision to terminate. Just because you think that your termination is going to be perfectly legal doesn't mean that that employee is not going to be able to put his legal twist on the whole situation and make it look like it was discrimination or retaliation. There is no reason why you cannot wait a day or 2 or 3 or even longer to talk to your attorney, to look at the situation and then make the decision whether you want to terminate that employee or not. You have nothing to lose by waiting, but everything to gain. Specifically, to gain the peace of mind that you're not setting yourself up for an expensive lawsuit. The second mistake is exaggerating the reasons for termination. Many employers are tempted to back up their termination decisions by going overboard with criticizing that employee's performance. They tell him how horrible he is and how bad his numbers and figures are and how he is the worst in the department and maybe how disappointed they are with his performance and how much more they expected from him. There is no reason to do that because that type of language, that type of harsh criticism will anger that employee, and anger usually translates into going to attorneys and talking to them and seeing if a case can be made. It is enough if your termination letter says that the employee is terminated due to performance issues or for performance. You don't need to elaborate and explain to the employee how horrible he is. Generally, there are some exceptional circumstances where providing that detail is important, but for the most part, in most cases, not only is it not necessary, but it is actually counterproductive, and it only increases the risk of being sued. And the third mistake that employers make is providing untrue reasons for termination. And this often happens with layoffs. Let's say you tell someone that you lay them off because you're experiencing reduction in force or restructuring, and then a week later you post the same job with slightly different title or even the same title on Monster, LinkedIn, and elsewhere. And then you hire someone else, and then the other employee finds out that he wasn't really laid off, that it was basically a lie. And then if that employee is older and you hired someone much younger, or if that employee was a female and you hired a man, now they're thinking that it was gender discrimination or age discrimination. So they're going to go to a lawyer and they're going to see if they can make a case against you. There is no reason to lie about the reasons for termination. There is no reason to call termination a layoff. I understand there is a temptation to part peacefully and not to make an employee feel bad, and it's so much easier to say that it's a layoff. But if it means that you're misrepresenting the real reasons for separation, you should not be doing that. You can simply say you're terminated because it doesn't work out, or you're terminated because, again, your performance is insufficient. But do not call termination a layoff because it can easily backfire. So be sure that you avoid these 3 common mistakes, and it will significantly reduce the chances of those employees bringing claims against you. Thank you.